All right, so thinking about the UAE, sun and sand, maybe a career move.
Mm-hmm.
We've got articles, blog posts, the whole deal.
And it's a lot, right?
Yeah, going way past just like the pretty pictures. What's it really like living as an expat there?
Exactly. Informed decisions. We're going to dig into all this stuff, and hopefully you come away with a much clearer picture.
Love it. Okay, so let's kick off with something everyone talks about. That booming economy. I mean, Dubai, the skyline, it's practically an icon for like growth, isn't it?
It really is, yeah.
One article really dug into this specifically for some fields, finance, IT, healthcare, construction. They're pulling in some serious talent with salaries to match.
And the reasons behind that are actually pretty interesting.
Lay it on me.
It's not just the oil money, though obviously that plays a part, but the UAE's location, right? It's this global hub for trade.
Makes sense.
Plus, the government has been putting a ton of effort into diversifying, building up these other sectors, creating opportunities.
So it's not just show up and you're a millionaire kind of thing.
Haha, not quite. The salaries are high, that's true. But the competition is fierce. Think. Global talent pool, so you really need the skills and experience to stand out.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Which brings up a good question for you, listening. Are you ready for that kind of environment, that level of competition?
Makes you think. And even with a great salary, got to consider the cost of living, right? One expat story really stuck with me. They talk about choosing an apartment just a bit outside the city center in Dubai.
Ah, smart.
Yeah, and that really lowered their rent, freed up their budget for, actually enjoying the UAE.
Totally, that's strategic. Shows that even in a place known for luxury, you can be smart about your money. Speaking of which...
Oh, here we go, the glamorous side.
Right.
Those incredible malls, the food scene, all those cultural attractions.
Yeah.
But one article, they got real about the price tag attached to all that.
Yeah, it's not all sunshine and roses.
Right, they mentioned things like transportation, groceries, utilities, daily stuff that adds up. They even suggested like a minimum monthly income, 10,000 dirhams for single folks, 20,000 for families, just to live comfortably.
And it's important to remember those are minimums. Comfortable, not, lavish. And we haven't even touched on education.
Oh, right, kids?
Huge factor. If you've got children, international schools are great, but the tuition, oh boy.
So yeah, planning is key.
Absolutely. It's not just about the salary, it's the whole picture.
Totally. And then beyond the money, there's the whole cultural aspect. The UAE is famous for its diversity, something like 90% expats.
Crazy, right?
I can only imagine the energy that creates.
It's vibrant, constantly exposed to new ways of life, different cuisines, festivals from all over. It's a constant learning experience, a real melting pot.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah.
But the articles also mention adjusting to certain things, like dress codes, social customs, things that are different.
And that's where understanding the context is really important.
Yeah, for sure.
The UAE is a Muslim-majority country, so these norms reflect their values. It's about adapting to a different way of life, not just knowing the rules.
Right, it's deeper than that.
Exactly. And one expat mentioned something I hadn't even thought about.
Yeah.
The heat. They said being prepared for those intense summers, it's part of the adjustment too.
Oh, wow.
Totally. Adapting to the climate, it's a real thing. But even beyond the weather, there are those less talked about sides of expat life in the UAE.
Yeah.
The things beyond the brochures.
Ooh, the juicy stuff.
Right. We'll get into that next.
Okay, yeah, spill the tea.
Right. So one thing that really stood out to me reading through all this was the whole residency thing.
Residency?
Yeah, it's tied to your job in the UAE. A lot of people don't realize that.
Oh, interesting.
Basically, if you lose your job, you could be required to leave the country.
Whoa. Seriously?
Yeah, even if you've, built a life there.
That adds a whole other level to the job search then.
It does.
It's not just finding any job. It's got to be something stable.
Exactly. Security is key. And that kind of leads into another point that came up a lot, the work culture.
Oh, yeah. What about it?
Well, long hours, high expectations, it seems like that's just the norm there.
So that work hard, play hard thing, it's real.
I mean, it's not a total stereotype.
Yeah.
The UAE has grown so fast, and that pace, it kind of bleeds into everything. Ambition, strong work ethic, those are really valued.
Which I guess can be good and bad.
Definitely two sides to that coin. Makes you think about life outside of work, too.
Do people even have time for that?
That's the question, isn't it? It really depends on you, your priorities, what kind of balance are you looking for? Are you okay with maybe less personal time to get ahead in your career? Is your family on board with that?
Heavy stuff.
Mm.
One expat mentioned, though, that their job had a relocation package.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it covered housing, health insurance, all that. Sounded like it made things a lot easier.
Huge help, especially with those initial costs. But even with a package, there can still be hidden costs, you know?
Like what?
Yeah.
Can you give me an example?
Let's say you've got a pet.
Ah, see, now you're speaking my language. Couldn't leave my furry friend behind.
And you don't have to. Taking your pet to the UAE is definitely doable.
Okay, good.
But it takes planning, vaccinations, microchips, gotta check those airline rules, plus registering your pet once you're there.
So it's not as simple as just hopping on a plane with them.
Right. Be prepared is key. Actually, couple tips for you on that note.
Hit me.
First, look into pet-friendly housing before you go. Not every place allows animals.
Smart. Wouldn't want to find the perfect spot only to be sold no pets allowed.
Exactly. And second, connect with some local expat pet groups.
Oh, cool idea.
Yeah, they're a goldmine for advice, support. Plus, you'll meet other people who get it.
Yeah, the pet parent struggles.
Exactly. Building that community, it's so important, even for your furry family members.
It's so true. Finding your people is key.
Yeah.
2 legs, 4 legs, doesn't matter. And wow, we've covered a lot of ground.
Yeah.
I mean, from those economic opportunities to the lifestyle, the culture, the challenges, a lot to digest.
It is. The UAE, it's a complex place, and there's just no easy answer, Whether it's right for someone, it's so personal.
So as our listeners are taking all this in, what should they be thinking about as they're making this decision?
I think it goes beyond just the shiny stuff, It's about your own values, what matters to you.
Yeah.
What are you hoping to get out of this? What are you willing to maybe give up? What kind of life do you see for yourself there in the UAE?
It's so easy to get caught up in the excitement of it all. But yeah, it's got to be more than just surviving.
Exactly. Thriving, that's the goal.
Absolutely.
And even if, after all this, you decide it's not the right move right now, it doesn't mean this whole deep dive was for nothing.
I was just going to say that.
Thinking it through, weighing your options, that's valuable in itself.
For sure.
Helps you figure out your priorities, understand yourself better, maybe even find some new paths you hadn't considered before.
So whether the UAE becomes like this big chapter in your life or just something that makes you think differently, hopefully this helped.
That's the goal. The world's full of amazing opportunities.
It is.
Keep exploring, keep dreaming, and keep looking for those experiences that, really fit with the life you want.
Couldn't have said it better myself. That's it for this deep dive into expat life in the UAE. We'll be back soon with another fascinating topic, so stay tuned.